in Delphi, and we're gonna go take a look around and learn a little bit more about what is written in the probable cause, as well as head to the Monon High Bridge. And I also want to check out the CVS. Let's go see where Richard Allen worked. Let's put some context to what we know. So here is the courthouse. We are in historic downtown Delphi, and let me show you exactly how close the CVS is to everything, and that is where, again, Richard Allen worked. So really quickly, look over here, and we have the Carroll County Sheriff's Office right here. We're driving past it. Okay, and then you keep going down where it's like we're kind of heading out of Delphi, but look at this. Here is the CVS where Richard Allen worked and where he printed photographs for the girls' memorial for the family. So when Doug Carter stated in 2019 that the alleged killer was hiding in plain sight, he wasn't joking. We're talking a block from the sheriff's office in Delphi, Indiana. Again, Carroll County Courthouse, where people are, you can see the news there, people are camping out there at night, including yours truly. Okay, we are now driving closer to the Monon High Bridge. We really haven't driven that far. All right, so we just turned onto County Road 300 North, and we're gonna drive. Let me show you guys. I'm gonna take you everywhere so you guys can get context with what's in the probable cause and what Pat Brown explained Saturday on the stand. He is the witness who found Abby and Libby. So obviously we're headed to the Monon Bridge Trail. As we approach right here, this is actually, see the parking sign right here? This is where the public typically parks. Pull on in. If anybody was worried, I'm not driving. I have a friend driving. So this is where the public typically parks. Really quickly, Richard Allen did not park here, and nor did Kelsey drop Abby and Libby off here. But just to understand where a lot of witnesses were parked, and how you would actually get to the bridge, that is the Freedom Bridge right there. And then keep going, and I'll just jump out really quickly so you guys can get an idea of this trail. Okay, so again, here we are at the Delphi Historic Trails right here. Parking area. This is where people typically park. That's the Freedom Bridge. You go across there to get to the Monon High Bridge. I want to explain where Abby and Libby were dropped off and where Richard Allen parked. So I'm going to get back in the car and keep taking you guys with me. All right, I just got back in the car, and now we're going to leave the parking lot where the public access gets to the Monon, where the public access leads to the Monon High Bridge, and we're going to drive this way now and point out where actually Richard Allen claims that he parked that day, or I should say, Richard Allen actually says that he parked at a place that doesn't exist, but in the probable cause, they believe that what he meant was the old Child Protective Services building, because a couple of witnesses, oh, seatbelt, hold on. All right, seatbelt on. So the old Child Protective Services building is where a couple of witnesses actually saw a car parked discreetly. We've just left it's okay, we just left so there's the Freedom Bridge right there, by the way, everybody. Yeah, right there. And we're driving, and where is the building? No, the building doesn't exist anymore, right? We can speed this up too for people as we drive, but I want to keep it going so that people can see. Okay, so there is the Freedom Bridge right there on the other side, and look guys, this is where the old Child Protective Services building was. It doesn't exist anymore. They've taken it down. All right, so here I am, and just for context, you guys can see the Freedom Bridge right there. We were on the other side of the Freedom Bridge, right where the public access to the Monon High Bridge Trail is. So we've come around here. This is where the old Child Protective Services building was, the old CPS building, where witnesses say, and this is according to the probable cause, witnesses say that they saw a car parked discreetly behind the Child Protective Services building, which is again not here. In the probable cause, Richard Allen admits to parking at the old Farm Bureau building. Now, the Farm Bureau building doesn't exist, and in the probable cause, they say it never existed, and they assume that Richard Allen means this old building, which is no longer standing here in 2024, but that would actually put Richard Allen here with his car. I mean, that's his alibi, was that yes, he was on the trail at the same time that Abby and Libby disappeared. So this point is really important. This is where Richard Allen, where police say Richard Allen's car was parked that day. No other cars here but his. All right, so we're getting back in the car, and now we're gonna drive to where the girls were actually dropped off. So where Kelsey, Libby's sister, says that she dropped Abby and Libby off this afternoon. So back in the car, again, that's where the old CPS building was, right back there. We just left. So we're driving along. Delphi is quite beautiful. I can understand why the girls were wanting to, go out. Let me roll this back up so you can hear a little bit better. All right, so right here, pull over right here, because isn't this Muir Farms? That's Muir Farms, where they say the girls drop off, and we believe that Kelsey pulled over right here, right in this spot, and sort of kind of just pulled off, and right through there you can get to the trail. So if you pull up just a little bit more, you can kind of see how this little area leads to the Monon High Bridge. Keep pulling up so you can see the farm here. And so the girls would have just walked down and been on the trail, and Kelsey would have just continued, turned around, and headed to her boyfriend's house, which is what she said she did after dropping Abby and Libby off for a fun day hiking. So we just passed where the girls were dropped off for the hike, and we'll just keep going down this way. Where are we going next? The cemetery. So this is actually really important, and Pat Brown in his testimony Saturday morning brought up the cemetery. He is the one, here we are, who found Abby and Libby's remains, and so he pulled in here. We'll pull in as well, and once we get to the end here, we'll go park, and then I'll jump out and show you guys exactly where the girls' remains were found according to Pat Brown's testimony and the probable cause. So here we are in the cemetery, and as you can see here, we came all the way to the end of the cemetery. Now, according to the testimony by Pat Brown on Saturday morning in court, he's the one who found Abby and Libby's remains. He actually says that he came down here through the cemetery and then come right over here, and let me show you. He says he came through the cemetery. Clearly now, as you can see, there's a barbed wire fence here. That was not here in 2017. This was Tuesday, now February 14th, 2017. Pat Brown called off work to help look for Abby and Libby. He came down here. He says that the girls' remains were about 40 yards past the cemetery. He said that he followed, come right over here. There is a ravine right down here. And Pat Brown says that he followed the ridge all the way down. And here's the ravine, and so he was following the ridge. He went down, and then he stated that where he found the girls' bodies, you could see Deer Creek, the river. The girls actually, and I'll show you on the map, had to have like crossed back over the river, or the creek, excuse me, with Richard Allen. And that's, I think, an interesting part of the story. And again, if you don't recall, some of their clothing, not all of it, but some of their clothing was found in that creek. And Pat Brown and other witnesses found some of those articles of clothing. So again, we just left. We are just leaving the cemetery, and I'm going to show you guys just how far away Ron Logan's house is. Ron Logan's house, again, to remind people, it was searched by police. He was a suspect for a time, never arrested. He is now passed away, but the girls technically were found on his property. This is where his house is located, just a little bit further right here. This is, or was, Ron Logan's residence. All right, so if Richard Allen was indeed parked here at the old Child Protective Services building, let me tell you where I think he actually entered the trail. Let's go down this way, drive this way really quickly. And then after this, of course, we'll show you where the girls entered at Mears Farm. So I believe that it was right here, right there. Do you see? Let me roll down the window here. Right there. That's where I believe that Richard Allen likely entered, if that was his car parked there, and he was indeed at the trail that day. According to a police interview back in 2017, he told police he was at the trail and that he parked at the Farm Bureau building, which they all believed was that place. This is where I speculate he entered the trail. So we just parked at the Mears Farm entrance where the girls were dropped off, and we're gonna take their route actually to what we believe is their route to the Monon High Bridge. So come right this way. So we're gonna actually just take you guys the whole way. Maybe we'll speed this up, but we want to take you guys with us. So I'll grab that from you and we'll keep on going. Right over here is a memorial set up to remember the girls. Dear Abby and Livy, I have never met you nor interacted with you. You've never heard of me, but you have guided me, it states. The circumstances of me hearing about you weren't what they should have been. However, the legacy and joy you both brought to this world is something that I will always aspire to bring. In y'all's honor, love, devotion, wit, brains, and happiness is what this world needs. I may not be able to give you both the true justice you guys deserve, but I can use your virtues of love, creativity, kindness, athleticism, baking cookies for life for Libby, and crafting for life for Abby. Love, live, and light up the world like the girls did, and this world would be incredible. We'll have incredible times ahead. May both of your beautiful souls rest in peace. With much love and vengeance for justice. Sam. Let's keep on going. That was sad. Just gonna give you guys there's people down there. Over here we have a farm. So this trail where we're on, it was rock back in 2017. They have paved it since the murders, but it was rock back when Abby and Libby would have used it. We are coming up to the Monon High Bridge. And as we come up to the Monon High Bridge, it's definitely changed. It's not what it used to be. I'll show all of you that. And again, this, even this pathway, by the way, it used to be rock. When Abby and Libby came here on that February 13th, 2017, it would have been rock. It's now paved. And again, this would be from the Mears farm entrance where the girls would have walked to the Monon High Bridge. And as you can see already, it is not railroad like it used to be. We'll keep on coming here. We've seen a lot of people here out leisurely with family, pets, children. It is a place where people certainly gather and to enjoy the weather and outdoors. So here is the bridge. Doesn't look like what it used to, right? So we are here at the Monon High Bridge. We just took the way that we believe Abby and Libby would have come. And so again, I want to show you guys, it's not what it used to be. They have clearly paved the pathway to the bridge. And now, as you can see, they have a walkway that is safe with guard railings overlooking Deer Creek. And it goes all the way until the end where I'll take you guys where you can see that they do have some of the original where the girls would have walked and where Bridge Guy, possibly Richard Allen, also walked, allegedly. That was bad, but you know, whatever. I'll keep going. There's the creek below. This is where Abby and Libby would have walked. So very high. 60 feet, I believe. It's definitely not what it used to be. If you walk down here, so high up, walk to the end here, you're seeing a bridge that looks more familiar, as well as purple and blue flowers, which are clearly for Abby and Libby, their two favorite colors. So here is the original bridge that they would have walked on, and as you can see, it is scary, to me at least. They would have had nowhere to go, and I believe that they didn't conclude this because it's private property. That's my guess, but the bridge continues on. And this is what it is today. All right, I am at the end of where the public access ends on the Monon High Bridge. Again, there's the original that Abby and Libby would have been on back in 2017 before this new bridge was built. That's a lot safer. And one thing to note, really important to note, that Richard Allen, we came in this direction, but Richard Allen would have actually taken the girls to the other end of the bridge, which is where he stated, guys, down the hill. And when I say Richard Allen, I mean allegedly Richard Allen, innocent until proven guilty. Let's call him Bridge Guy for right now. So Bridge Guy would have said, guys, down the hill, across here. This is important to note too. And I did not realize this until I came and heard where the girl's remains were found from Pat Brown in trial on Saturday. But if they went to this side, they were on the other side of the water here, right? But their remains were found back, so now it's back that way, which means that the girls and an alleged Richard Allen or Bridge Guy would have had to cross back over the creek again after coming this way, which is also interesting to remember. Some of their articles of clothing were found in the creek, and so now I have to wonder if they lost it while crossing. It also makes me wonder this too, because Libby's phone, one of the most important pieces of evidence, Libby's phone, was found in a shoe underneath Abby. And to think that perhaps maybe they were protecting that phone and hiding that phone in a shoe while they crossed a creek with this man who would then take their lives. It's just something to think about, something to speculate on. How did they keep that phone safe? Why did he not take it? How did they protect it? They went again. They were taken to this side, but later found back on the other side where we just were. I'm walking back to the car. Another thing I want to point out, just some thoughts I've been having. Again, I think it's remarkable that Abby and Libby protected that phone and that Bridge Guy did not take that phone with them because of the important video and piece of evidence that was on that phone. I also, after being in this area, it's beautiful. I can see why the girls would have wanted to come on a day off of school, and why it's so popular. It's just, it's beautiful out here. Thinking about how nobody found their bodies the night before, and they didn't find their bodies until the next day on February 14th. And again, that was they were found by Pat Brown, who called work off on a Tuesday to help look for the girls, and he found their remains. How a lot of people have wondered why no one could find their remains the night before and why it took so long. I'm actually surprised that they found them so quickly. Just something I'm thinking about. Sorry, switching hands here. Let me see if I can hold this better. These woods are dense and they're vast. They're dense and they're vast. Oh, and look, here's a private property sign right over there too. And I just think it's not surprising to me that nobody found their bodies until Tuesday.